updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, as we continue to have our discussions on crime and, what we can do as a people, because, at the end of the day, us as citizens, we do have a responsibility. There are things that we can do to change the trajectory that the country is going when it comes to the crime and the state of violence in general within our space. We are being joined by one person that's hoping to make a difference, some way or the other, Miss Joanne John, who is a former Canadian federal government executive. And special good morning and welcome to you, first of all.
Good morning.
And you are going about with a petition called Stand Up Against Crime. So before we get into the petition itself, just give us an idea of who you are and why the topic of crime, why has this impacted your life so much that you want to do something about it?
Okay, thanks for the question. I guess I could start by saying crime has impacted my family. Even though I spent most of my life outside Trinidad and Tobago, as you could probably hear, I was born in San Fernando, and my mom took my sister and I away when we were quite little, but when I retired 5 years ago, I moved back and decided to reside in Tobago. Over the course of my lifetime, though, 3 people within my own family were impacted by crime. One was a victim of domestic abuse and murdered. Another was a youth who was killed, and another was the new husband of one of my cousins, who was also gunned down by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that's in one family, not impacted directly because I wasn't really here all of that time, but certainly it affected my family and it affected those members. By the time I returned, as we all know, crime has exploded in a way that is unprecedented. I did a little bit of research to come here, and there's an organization called WOS, and it's an organization, a world organization that tracks statistics about crime within all of the countries in the world. And they ranked Trinidad and Tobago as 6th in the world in terms of its crime rate. Now, we're talking about all the countries in the world. I don't know anymore. 100, yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, I'm not sure exactly what that number is right now, but of 186 countries in the world, we rank 6th. That is not somewhere that any country this size, with all of the things that Trinidad and Tobago has to offer, this is not where we want to be as a country. But here's where I get frustrated. I did spend a lot of, as you mentioned, I'm a former federal government executive in Canada, but that's not all I did, or that doesn't define me exactly. I spent a lot of time working with the Department of Corrections. I spent a lot of time working for Canada Border Services. I spent a lot of time working for an organization that deals with anti-money laundering and anti-terrorist financing. So while I wasn't an operational person or a person who wore a uniform, I definitely understood all of the policies around crime and criminality. So when I came back here and realized that the situation was worsening in Trinidad, I chose Tobago. Now Tobago, the situation is worsening in Tobago, as we all know and feel. So I'm thinking, I don't want to keep repeating the things that everyone has heard. We all know what has caused the crime. The pastor who was on before me outlined all of the everything that's happening that's wrong, and his notion is about divine intervention. But respectfully, I'm sorry, divine intervention is not working. It is clearly not working, because if it was working, then you wouldn't have innocent people like the woman recently, shot as a bystander in QREP. You wouldn't have kids being, to my mind, it means that there's something wrong even at that level. I'm not going to go so far as to say that we've been forsaken, but I'm definitely going to say that somebody somewhere is not really paying attention, because where the fix needs to be is within the country itself. And yes, I really liked hearing the pastor suggesting that where where the problem has to be really addressed is at the top. We know that if you cut off the heads of dragons, they can't live, right? If you cut off the heads of snakes, they can't function. So that's definitely one of the areas that something needs to be done. I have no power to do that, but I do have a power as a person, as a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, to do what little I can. So my petition was the first place I wanted to start. Do you know what I heard from one person straight away? Trinidad and Tobagoans don't sign petitions. Okay, well, whatever. So far, I have 100 signatures. I started a petition to remove the dress code. I think it was kind of successful in the long run, and I got 1,000 signatures for that in the same time frame. So why only 100 now? 1,000 for something that, yes, it needed to change, but it's not as serious as what we're talking about here.
So tell me about the petition itself.
Yes.
And the motion of the petition, if I want to phrase it that way.
Well, I mean, it's quite easy. You go to an organization called change.org and you write your, whatever kind of a statement you want to make for whatever change you'd like to affect, and then you post it. And what I did was then, send it out to everybody I could think of through my WhatsApp channels and my Messenger and my Instagram and everything else, in order to get people to pay attention and to sign. But like I said, of the probably 200 people I sent it to, there are now less than 100 who have signed on. And the idea is it's supposed to have a ripple effect, right? So that one person signs it, but they send it out to their 20 WhatsApp contacts or 30 or 100 WhatsApp contacts. So I'm not too confident that might get to where I want it to be. But what I would like to do, I actually have ideas, and I've been sort of canvassing folks for other ideas. And one of the big ideas is that I think as a collective, we have to do something. And what other countries do, the people of other countries do when they're unhappy with what's happening to their people, as we can see with Israel and Palestine, in countries where they're residing all over the world.
Yes.
They're protesting daily because they don't like what's going on with their respective peoples. We are in one little country. Why can we not have a national day of protest? Why can't everybody put down whatever they're doing for one day and come out and make the government hear that it has reached a critical point? Why can't we have a lockdown of all the vehicles on all the highways at the same time? I understand that happened once before, but this time make it about crime. Why can't we have a gun amnesty, where the government gives all of the gunmen a period of time to turn in all the guns? They don't do it, raids. They don't do it, immediate arrest. The government has the power to put measures in place to suspend rights for a bit. I'm not, I'm a liberal, a Democrat. I'm actually even more on the social side of things. I'm not the kind of person who normally advocates for suspending people's rights. But when you have to do that in order to make something change, then that's the time that you might have to do it. But you have to have the courage to do it. And our elected officials don't have the courage. They're stonewalled. They don't have the power. They're giving away that power somehow. And I think that's a huge part of the problem. The other thing is, whenever WASA seems to be able to pull together people to protest when they're unhappy with what WASA is doing, how come we can't put people together to when every conversation that's happening at every table on every street corner is about crime? This is what I don't understand. I just was speaking to someone on the way here, and he said, his idea is anybody caught with a gun after illegally holding a gun, an automatic 10 years in prison. Well, I don't think that's possible, because where are you going to put them? You'd have to build new prisons, right? But again, at the community level, neighborhood watches. That's something that other countries have done very effectively. You just have everyone. I mean, there's the Trinidadians like to Mako your neighbors all the time. Tobagonians like to know what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on in your backyards all the time. And it isn't going to hurt you to pick up the phone and call somebody, call the police, call someone, call the 211 or whatever, and say, I think something suspicious is going on here. Don't just pull your curtains back and pretend nothing's going on.
So, with this petition, I mean, I know sometimes you have to start with something small, and you seem very committed, very passionate to start here. So tell me about just starting here with this petition and where you're hoping to see it go.
What I'm hoping to do is that it gets enough signatures that then I can use that to use the fact that people have paid attention to help organize a national day of protest. I already have a number of people who would be interested in jumping on that bandwagon and somehow figuring out a way to do it. I was involved in protesting, very little protest, about the closure of the beaches during the COVID period, but I was out there in front of Mount Irving, with my little placard and things. I don't see any reason that a National Day of Protest could not, because then that gets international news as well, and then politicians and stuff pay attention to that sort of thing. The tourism is another thing. Tobago, Farley Augustine is running around all over the world promoting Tobago as a tourist destination. Do you know one of my friends from Canada just arrived on a cruise ship a couple of weeks ago, just before Christmas, at Scarborough, at the port of Scarborough. When they were leaving the cruise ship, they were given little pieces of paper that cautioned them to walk in groups. Don't bring your cell phone because it might get stolen. Make sure that you don't talk to any sort of strangers. All kinds of warnings about going to walk around Scarborough for a few hours, or go to Pigeon Point, or go to Store Bay. So all of this campaign on promoting tourism in Tobago isn't going to go anywhere if people are being told, like the U.S. travel advisory that says, reconsider Trinidad and Tobago as your travel destination. These two things, that nexus is, there's something wrong there. So I think any business people, clergy, regular citizens, youth, children, everybody could get together and walk to the Red House and march and walk to the Tobago House of Assembly and make their voices heard. Just have to pick a day and everybody do it at the same time, and hope that it makes international news.
And now, as we're getting ready to wrap this morning, how can people be a part of your cause? How can they jump behind you and to support your drive in terms of grabbing that attention and making sure our authorities can do something serious about a crime situation?
Well, I think the first thing would be to sign the petition. It is at change.org. You go there and you search the petition. It says stand up against crime in Trinidad and Tobago, and it says it's now or never. So if folks go there, hopefully they'll be able to access the petition and be able to at least start there.
Okay, great. And then if they want to contact you at all, just about, joining the cause and everything like that, is there any way they can reach out to you?
Well, I mean, I'm hesitant to give, put my phone number out there, but I certainly, I do have I could be contacted through the change.org site. I will see the numbers of people there. People put their emails in order to sign up, and I can, that would definitely indicate to me that there is an interest there. And then we use that same list of emails as a distribution list for helping to organize something bigger.
Understandable. I want to thank you so much, Ms. Joanne John, for joining us this morning and sharing with your cause. And of course, we need more passionate people like you within our space to really make something happen and to really change the situation around.
Right.
So
thank you very much, Kandace.
All right, viewers. So don't go anywhere. We've got quite a lot more coming up for you after the break. So stay with us.